stand-up comedy, when you started doing that, I mean, you're very funny. I would say that's the more ballsier thing than being a musician. Being stand-up is the hardest.
Like, it's the absolute hardest.
It's the absolute hardest. So what aspect of comedy did you say, you know what, I'm going to try that?
It's really just a faster, close-quarter combat version of songwriting.
Okay.
You know, as much as I worry about how I'm going to get the first verse of the B section to set you up knowledge-wise so you know what the chorus is about, is the exact same way I'm trying to write a joke so that I can set it up in one sentence and you'll know what I'm talking about. You miss, so many times you go on stage to do comedy and you know what you're saying in your brain, but you don't say it into the microphone and you get nothing.
Yeah.
And someone else has to come up to you who's a comic or something and say, I knew what you were trying to go for, but you missed that word and that word and that word and nobody knew what you were talking about. So I really can defend wanting to get up there as a writer. You have a seed of an idea. How do you get it to a place where people can consume it and understand it? And it's just like being a songwriter.
Do you ever fall into that quandary of the writer that you'll be having an emotional experience, something will happen in the back of your head, you're like, ooh, that'll make a good song or a good joke or something? Absolutely.
You know, when it gets time to make a record or finish a record, you're seeing things as titles. You're breaking everything down to, could that be a title? Could that be a title? And really the songs that are worth anything are the ones that sort of come into you. I woke up one morning and went, oh, half of my heart's got a grip on the situation. Half of my heart takes time. You know, and that's just what you start with.
Right.
You spend all day writing and writing and writing and writing. That's how songs get written. When you have to be reminded that you're a famous musician who has to get his major label record out, that does not write songs.
So where did the title Battle Studies come from?
I was reading this book called On Killing, and there was this reference to a book, and the book was called Battle Studies. And I really stopped and sort of turned towards the last 3 or 4 years of my life as a person, not as a celebrity, but as a person, and sort of what everybody goes through at a certain stage in their life, which is really getting down into it so that you can have a really peaceful next decade of your life, you know. I sort of just instantly fused into how great it would be to call a record Battle Studies. And actually, you know, I think it's the most universal record thematically that I've ever made.
So now that the record's coming out, like, what's your mood like? Because you had an amazing Twitter about it. If I may dive right in.
Yeah, I'm right here, but why don't you just read those 140 characters that I wrote 2 weeks ago?
I'm going to read, 2 days ago.
This is an efficient use of everybody's time.
2 days ago. You wrote, I'm at the point where I think to myself, either this album is really great or really shit. Either way, I'll be too busy to know it.
Yeah.
Do you remember like what you were doing right then when you tweeted that?
I was probably so sort of burnt out from doing one thing and the other that I just took a Twitter break.
A Twitter break.
It was a little Twitter break, and I've had a bunch of experiences making this record where I went home saying to myself, oh, we're getting it. Oh, we are just tagging this. And the other half of the time I walk upstairs and I just feel like I've done it. Like Continuum was it, and that was a good run.
Really, what's the biggest difference in evolution from Continuum to this record?
It's not as neat.
Okay.
So it's purposely got some edges on it. Continuum sort of is all about this perfect record. The vocals are, you know, sing them 1,000 times, make sure that each time you sing a line, it is perfect. Gravity. Stay the hell away from me. But Battle Studies is a lot more endearing in the sense that it really feels like me, not on stage playing for you for some of these songs, but like in your house playing for you. It's a little more intimate. It's not to say that it's like a Neil Young record, but it's closer to a Neil Young record than a Sting record this time around. Yeah. It's been a long night in New York City. It's been a long night in Austin too.
Now the first single, Who Says, has a bit of a Tom Petty type feel to it. Was that something you were going for?
Yeah. Tom Petty and Neil Young and Fleetwood Mac and the Eagles, you know, moving out to California to make the record, I couldn't help but fall in love with that sort of really easy, melodic, straight to the point sort of a vibe. And so that's why I knew that I wanted it to be the first single, Because most people's first singles, and most of my first singles, if not all of them, have been the biggest thing you can find on the record. What's the biggest, loudest, tallest, sort of largest thing you can find? And this was sort of like, I wanted to go under all of that. You have to go back to that place that's very pure and simple and connected. And so, Who Says was sort of like grabbing people by the collar and bringing them close again and going, nope, it's just you and me.
Who says I can't get stoned? Plan a trip to Japan alone. Doesn't matter if I even go. Who says I can't get stoned?
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
She's on your record.
She's on the record, yeah.
How were you introduced to Taylor Swift? How did you find her as an artist?
I'd written this song in keeping with the Tom Petty sort of context. I'd written this song that was really straight up melodic, to the point chorus. And I was thinking, well, if I in my little imagination am Tom Petty when I'm singing this song, who's Stevie Nicks? And it was like, and I'm very strange about getting other people to perform on my records, because I just feel like I want those records to be around forever. And I don't know what someone else is going to do in their life.
Right.
So
you chose a 19-year-old?
Yes. Yeah, it's a good point, but that just should go to show you how confident I am that this is not a gimmick. It's not like featuring so-and-so and so-and-so just to sell a record. Okay. And that's evidenced by her coming in and us having a great time in the studio and singing on the song that's a little less than a duet. But where she is, it's just fantastic.
That was a great answer.
Thank you. I saw you get stumped.
I was just like, wow, I don't even know where to go next.
Your fast and your dry, articulate glibness couldn't even overcome.
It's my glibness that most people find appealing.
Did you have to find the guy to interview me the most like me?
It's like Stevie Wonder lived down the street from Jackson Browne, and they hung out in Van Halen's basement.